So, and now we are really ready to start. And I am really happy to introduce our first speaker, Elena Peresada. But at first, I'd like to tell you that, as usual, in our Trendy English conferences, we introduce and we greet our speakers with smiles in the chat box. It's our tradition. And at the end of the talk for the speaker, we give a round of applause. So to do it, we will ask you to switch on your cameras, mute applause, and give applause to our speaker. So, and in the beginning, it's also possible. Yes, I'm really happy that you switched on your cameras. So I'm happy to see your faces, and our speakers really happy to see faces. If you are able to switch on your camera. So hello, Julia, Natalia, Elena, if I'm not mistaken. And let's give Elena Peresada our smiles, our applause. So here they are. Okay, so, and Elena, by the way, Len, may I ask our participants a question? Maybe somebody knows you. Because I'd like to tell some words. If you know Elena Peresada, please put something in the chat box. So Elena is a great specialist in games and gamification. We are really happy and proud to say that she's one of the best in this question in the world. And so today she is going to tell you about classroom management, online, offline. So is there any difference or there is no, maybe, who knows? And what can you do to make it more effective? So Lena, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hello everyone, and we are ready to start. Yes, well, my main specialization is gaming and gamification in LT. Today I'm going to talk more about just different interactive activities which we can do to keep our class more focused when we work online. Am I right saying that you all work online now? So you are not, you don't have any physical lessons at the moment because of pandemic and all this stuff. Okay, in the chat, can you put 1 if you prefer online teaching to offline, and put 2 if you prefer physical classes to online. So 1 if online is better for you, and 2 if physical lessons are better for you. Okay, yeah, I think everybody misses physical lessons. Okay, okay, both, yeah, and somebody says that online is okay. Well, actually, I think we can find, online is good for private teaching, and of course, well, it depends on the students you work with, on the type of the group probably, and on the teaching goals which you set with the students. Well, at the moment I work both online and offline. Well, of course, as everybody now here in Russia, we have a lot of hybrid classes when I have like 3 students in the classroom, and maybe 1 or 2 they are online following us using their devices. Okay, which is just absolutely crazy. For me, it is better just online or offline. Okay, Yulia, can you let me share my screen, please? I don't have this permission. I can't turn on my presentation. Okay. Now I can. So here on the first slide, you can see my group like in two formats. Yeah, just the picture on the left was done like last year, just before pandemic, and the picture on the right. So this is our current situation. So we all know that online it is a little bit more difficult just to keep students' attention, as they're easily distracted. And when I start my lessons, it is very important for me just to make them interested and just to catch their attention. Usually when our students go to physical lessons, all this way to the language school, just getting ready for this lesson, just packing your backpack, it all tunes you on your lesson. But when you just switch your computer like 3 minutes before the lesson, you don't have this time to prepare your heart for the lesson. That's why it is very important not just to start the lesson at the very first moment, but to do something more relaxed at the beginning, and maybe to spend 5 or 10 first minutes of your lesson on some activities which will help just to switch students' attention from their everyday life to their studies. Okay, have a look at this picture. What do you think is on the picture? Any ideas? What can be hidden behind this black square? So can you write in the chat, what can you see, your ideas, what can be there just behind this black square? Okay, no ideas? An apple, okay. A banana, it will turn, and it will turn out to be an apple, okay? Good, a good idea, thank you, Julia. Any other ideas? Okay, let me reveal the truth. So actually this is an animal. Okay, thank you, Svetlana. So this is a picture of two pencils actually. So these are not bananas, these are pencils. Okay, another one. Now you know that the task might be a little bit tricky. So you can see a kind of hamburger, but what is it in reality? Okay, let's try just to evoke, let's try to wake up our creativity. What can be hidden behind this black square? So, is it a face? Yeah, probably this is just a face. Thank you for your idea. Anything else? Okay, so just while you're thinking, I just want to start a cake. Yeah. So we've got a winner, Svetlana. Yes, you're really right. This is a cake, actually. So it is always good to start your lesson with something which might surprise your students and stir up them a little bit, no matter whether it is a physical lesson or online lesson. And maybe if you've got an online lesson, it is even you can do it even more easily. So what else I like to start my lessons with? Give me 5. Okay, so I say, can you give me 5 names of animals? Okay, can anyone just turn on their mic and give me 5 words of 5 names of animals? Do you have any brave people here? Any volunteers?
A fox, a cat, a dog, a sparrow. Oh, that's not an animal, that's a bird actually.
Okay, but okay.
A bear, and well, that's it, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Kate. That's great. Thanks, and thanks for your braveness. Okay, so what about 5 words which are connected with education? Can you give me 5 words which 5 words which deal with education and school? Just any 5 words. Any volunteers? Or you can type these words in the chat if you can't speak right now.
I have only one idea. An owl can be connected with education. An owl.
An owl?
Symbol of wisdom. Yeah.
An owl. Okay, that's good.
The others I don't know.
Maybe not an animal, but any words connected with education. Now we're not going to talk about that. Was a very good connection with the previous task. Okay.
Participation, motivation, classroom, involvement.
Okay,
that's it,
thank
I
you,
guess.
Kate. Okay, you see, so this give me five. This task can be, this activity can be absolutely different. Like for A1 and like for C1, yeah, level. You can talk about abstract concepts with higher levels, and if you work with young learners, very young learners, so you can give something very, very simple. And this is a good start of the lesson, which helps students just to start speaking and to start speaking English. So what else what else I use in my lessons? You know, when my students come to the language school, they've got this like 5 minutes before the lesson, and they can chat, they can exchange news, they can have some kind of small talk. But when they join the conference, the lesson starts at that very moment. That's why it is a good idea just to give this time for chatting to your students. So I turn on my Zoom, I let my students in, then I can leave them a message on the whiteboard and leave the room like for 5 minutes. I want them just to talk a little bit. They don't come to your English lessons just to study English. What they really need, they need communication. And if they are now in lockdown, communication, this is what they need most of all. And we always should remember that the first thing which we do, we teach children first, and only then we teach English. So let them this give them this time just to chat a little bit, and then they'll be more eager to take part in your educational activities. So what else can we do? Of course, if you work in Zoom, I believe that now you all use breakout rooms very actively. Yeah, and I like using breakout rooms as often as possible during my lessons, as it releases pressure from well, I think you have noticed that students don't really like to keep their videos on. I can see that none of you have got your videos on. Why? You might be either busy with something which is not connected to the lesson, or maybe you don't want you don't want to experience this feeling of somebody staring at you all the time. And when we work with our students, we always want them just to turn, we always ask them to turn on their videos. But in real classroom, in physical classrooms, they can never feel their teachers stay like 90% of their lesson. So breakout rooms, this is a good opportunity just to release this pressure. They can work in a breakout room without teacher. Again, they have a chance just to chat with their with their friends. And well, actually a breakout room is a very good tool for big talks. Sometimes some of your students may misbehave, or they might be not even in a very good mood, and you can go with the student to a breakout room and have a talk, and just to find out what's going on, and maybe just give him or her some kind of advice, and then get back to the main room and to work with the rest of the class. Okay, and when I work with young learners, with very young, my youngest students at the moment, they are 7 and 8, and some of them are not very confident with Zoom. So I put into breakout rooms those students who are confident, and those who are not very confident, I always keep them in the main room. So I don't want just to put like some extra stress on them. When I work with young learners, I don't ask them to look into their course books all the time. Very often I just make print screens, and I put all the information from the course book on my screen, and this helps me just to keep my students' attention all the time, especially when I work with young learners. I just don't want them to look into their book when they start, as soon as they just put away their eyes from me, from my screen, they might get interested in something else, and then it will be very difficult for me just to get them back to my lesson. So they can do anything on my screen. The group, well, my groups are not very big, and they can use annotation tools and just write everything on my screen, choosing true, false, just putting ticks, and maybe marking something else on my screen. Okay, here you can see the way we started as a conversation with my students. First of all, they highlighted the phrases which I wanted them to pay attention to. And then this is how we started learning the conversation. At first, they could see the whole one. Then I just started covering some parts of this conversation, and we repeated it again and again. And this is how we started this conversation. So this is how we learned this conversation by heart. When with very young learners, when I check that they can read this word and they understand what it means, so they read this word and then we check. Okay, is he really happy? Yeah. So this word means happy. So my young learners, they can't type very well. That's why I can't use chat very often, but I start using it more and more often. Always at the beginning of the lesson, I ask them to send hello to everybody in the classroom, in the class, and then when the lesson is over, I ask them to say goodbye. To type goodbye, and sometimes I ask them to just to type something else. I want them to get familiar with the keyboard, but most of the time we just use a whiteboard, and they do everything on the whiteboard using annotation instruments. So this is how we work. So what else? Of course, I use WordWall a lot. I don't know if you use WordWall as well. Can you put pluses in the chat? And I will share some of my. Okay, yeah, WordWall is now very popular. By the way, at the moment, the platform Znania, which we work in partnership with, they also put a lot of WordWall-like instruments on their platform, and you might be interested in it. And okay, I do recommend you to have a look. Okay, so I'll just share some of my activities on WordWall. So when we do some, when I want to practice well, some questions with my students, I can ask them, okay, can you give me the number? What are you scared of? And some student says number 4, and then I can ask, are you scared of snakes? And the student says, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. So when I want to practice short answers, then I ask them, can you give me another number? For example, number 9. So I can ask, are you scared of worms? Or my students can go for some numbers, number 8, for example, and I ask them just to ask a question, and they have to ask a question. For example, Masha, are you scared of bears? And when I worked offline, I used a lot of flashcard games. Well, I'm very happy that all these flashcard games we can use online as well. So I can play with my students all kind of flashcard games which I used to play offline. Okay, yeah, now, okay, it is a little bit slow. So I can play what's missing. So what's missing? And it's a boat. Okay, I can shuffle the cards. And play what's missing again. So what's missing this time? So you don't know all the sets, that's why you can't answer my question, but my students can give me some ideas, and maybe somebody is right saying that, okay, a kite is missing. So just using random cards on WordWall, you can play this game. So how do you do it? How can you do it? You just deal number of deal places, not 1, but you put 7 or 8. So the number of your cards in the set minus 1. When we deal just 1 card, we can play all other activities. For example, clever parrots. I deal the card and I say bike. If this is a bike, my students repeat. If this is not a bike, they have to keep silent. Okay. Sandpit. So this is not a sandpit. That's why my students don't have to say anything. I can play flash. So what's this? Do you remember? Jigsaw, yeah? Okay, now, yeah, it's a jigsaw. Now let's have a look at the next one. So what is it? It's sandpit. So you see all different kinds of flashcard games. Also, I like using Jamboard with my students. Okay, let me share the screen once again. Jamboard is also a very good instrument, and for me it is easier than Mirror. And when when I want to create a simple activity, I always use Jamboard. Can you put 3 in the chat if you use Jamboard in your teaching practice? Just I want to know how many people are familiar with this instrument. So this is the picture which we created with my students in our last lesson. So the topic was in the city, and I just okay, yeah, Jana uses Jamboard. We just started creating the city. I said, okay, what is there in your city? And my student said, there is a street. And I just added an image of the street. And well, actually, you can add any image you need. Just type in the word, maybe we need a car in our city. So we can, okay, yeah, there is a car. So I can add a car to our picture, okay? And young students really love this type of activities, just creating, they can describe, they can create their own pictures. So what else my students like in the classroom? When we practice different questions, when I need to drill something in physical classrooms, I used to play the game which was called basketball. Online using Jamboard, I use crossing lava. Okay, for example, we read a text about Kirsty, and then we have to say something about Kirsty. What Kirsty does after school? She plays football, she plays tennis, she does gymnastics, she plays basketball. So the focus here is on these words, do and play with these words. She does drama, she does karate. Then I can tell my students about myself, what I do, and then they have to help me cross this lava, saying what I do. And they say, you don't play football, you don't play tennis, you don't do gymnastics, and so on. And if my students make a mistake, oh, I'm in lava and I am dead. And, okay, they have to start once again. And you see, I've got pictures of all my students, so we can ask different questions. They can talk about themselves, or for example, Sasha can talk about Artyom using the third person singular. Okay, well, I can practice reading. So there are other sticky notes here. We can do the same with reading or with any other language which I want to practice with my students. Okay, when I practice different rhymes with them, we also jump on these stones in the swamp just to help the dog or the frog just to cross the swamp. To keep their motivation high, so I award them with hearts, and for every 5 hearts they can get this kind of cup, and they can get even a bigger cup for more hearts than anybody else. So this is what we can do, and we can play even production games with older students. So there is a boy behind one of the cyborgs. So, but cyborgs, they look just like people, and we don't know whether there is a real person, a human being, or whether there is a boy. And my students can say, okay, let's first of all interrogate cyborg B. So, do you wake up early in the morning? No, I don't. Do you have a snack? No, I don't. So you are a cyborg. Okay. Do you have a snack? Yes, I do. You are a human being. So it's kind of mafia game. I'm not going just, I'm running out of time. That's why I'm not going just to describe this game in detail, but you can find videos how to play these kind of games on our YouTube channel, Trendy English Games. TrendyEnglish games, yeah. So what else? Online, you can record some videos with your students. Just to finish up my talk, I want to show you one of the videos which we made with my students. Let me share the sound.
Yes.
Okay, I have a pen.
Pass me the pen, please.
Here you are.
Thank you. Pass me the pen, please. Here. Thank you. Peter, pass me the pen, please. Here. Thank you.
Leah, pass me the pen, please.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, so and you can see that working online, it can be just as fun. You can get just as much fun and engagement as working offline in physical classrooms. And cats always help. Every time I ask my students just to bring their pet to the camera, so everybody gets so much involved and so happy. Okay, actually that's it. I think I don't have any time left, so I will have to stop here. Okay, thank you for listening to me, and I hope that some of my ideas were useful, and maybe you have learned something which you've never done in your classroom before. And if you want to learn more about games and gamification, please join our group of Vkontakte. I'll leave here a link a little bit later. Okay, thank you.
Okay, dear colleagues, thank you to Elena, and let's switch on our cameras and give her a round of applause, please. So thank you, Elena, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.